Portland City Council is set to vote on essentially boycotting the state of Texas over its anti-choice law, which effectively bans the vast majority of abortions in the state. Now, the question is, can they do it, and will it really have any type of impact? Now, Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler said that the city council will vote on whether to ban trading goods and services with Texas and also bar state employees from official business travel as well. The resolution, if passed, would also bar city employee travel to the state. Mayor Wheeler's office said that the resolution would be in effect until Texas either withdraws the abortion law or it gets overturned in court. Let me give you a little bit of Mayor Wheeler's statement on this. He says, quote, "The law does not demonstrate concern for the health, safety, and well-being of those who may become pregnant. This law does not recognize or show respect for the human rights of those who may become pregnant. The law rewards private individuals for exercising surveillance and control over others' bodies. It violates the separation of church and state, and it will force people to carry pregnancies against their will." And he's right about that. It also forces women to carry their pregnancies to term, even if they've been the victim of rape or incest. So it's a pretty extreme law, to say the least. But I do also want to note that it appears that if they do pass this resolution, it'll mostly be symbolic. So how much business does Portland do with Texas? A quick search of Portland's current 3-volume, 1,904-page budget returned only one mention of Texas, but that was a reference to a highway improvement project which included Southwest Texas Street in Portland. The Texas economy, by the way, is the 9th largest in the world, and that's according to the Texas Economic Development Corporation. Texas exports about $315.9 billion worth of goods and services to countries outside of the United States each year, including exports like petroleum and coal products. So I like that the city council is considering making a stand, even if it's just a symbolic one. But just know that even if they do vote in favor of this resolution and overwhelmingly pass it, it is unlikely to really have an impact on the decisions of Texas lawmakers who are trying to appeal to their rabid right-wing voters.
Yeah, so I still love it. I think it's the right idea. And sometimes I talk about building a change machine here at TYT, and of course, it's a funny phrase, right? And nobody knows what it means. But part of what it means
sounds like a great way to describe it then.
I know, right?
Yeah, totally.
So hey, listen, I'm here all week, okay, coming up with these brilliant ideas. No, but part of what it means, and eventually I hope people understand what we're going for here, is, for example, I'd like to follow suit. If we were a larger corporation, it'd be easier to do and say, hey, we're not going to do business in Texas either, and we'd have to figure out what that means, et cetera. But then I would love to build a coalition of small businesses saying we will not go to Texas. That would have more impact. And then Portland starts this. I would love to help a coalition of cities that say we're not going to do business with Texas anymore, and that would have a huge impact. Both those things would. So that's part of why I'm trying to grow this into a bigger network so we can have bigger impact in a lot of ways, including financial, because that's the only thing that really moves the needle, especially for conservatives, especially because their donors are pretty much business interests. And so if you hurt the business interest or you affect the business interest, then you could affect laws like this. And then all of a sudden, Republican politicians are a little bit more careful how they tread. At this point, they're not at all careful, because Greg Abbott, the governor of Texas, was asked about the fact that there was no exception to rape or incest, as Anna pointed out, in this law. And he said, no, it's okay, because we've got a plan. We're going to wipe out rape from Texas.
Governor, regarding the heartbeat bill, why force a rape or incest victim to carry a pregnancy to term?
It doesn't require that at all, because obviously it provides at least 6 weeks for a person to be able to get an abortion. And so for one, it doesn't provide that. That said, however, let's make something very clear. Rape is a crime, and Texas will work tirelessly to make sure that we eliminate all rapists from the streets of Texas by aggressively going out and arresting them and prosecuting them and getting them off the streets.
Rape has not been wiped out anywhere on the planet. It's an absurd thing to say. It's the kind of thing you say if you have nothing else left to say, which is Greg Abbott's situation, because they're saying basically, if you don't carry your rapist baby to term, we're gonna empower a whole bunch of vigilantes in the state of Texas to come after you and the clinics that you're going to, and try to hound you and bankrupt the people trying to help you.
Now the woman, by the way, just to clarify, can't be sued.
Yeah, the clinics can.
But the clinics can, and the woman would have to be part of those proceedings, which would be awful.
You have to track the women and violate their privacy and be totally gross to them, okay? And of course, the effect of it is to make them carry the zygote all the way to term and take care of it for 18 years. Basically, turn the woman into chattel, an indentured servant of the state. That's why people compare it to Handmaid's Tale, because you're using the women for their bodies and not asking them for permission. But yes, the clinics pay the money. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.